to Baking with Rodriguez's, week 3, but week 7 on whatever. Anyway, here are your ingredients for the week. We're making magic cookie bars. First and foremost, you need some graham cracker crumbs. We actually have the real version this time, but you can still get the HEB version. Doesn't matter, any kind of graham cracker crumbs. If you want to buy whole graham crackers and crush them up, do it. That's fine. Next, we need some sweetened condensed milk. That is the HEB brand one. Some coconut. I know some of you guys don't like coconut. Oh well, we're gonna use it anyway. Coconut is good. Then we need some chocolate chips. The milk chocolate chips. Make sure it's milk chocolate. Pecans. Love me some pecans. And of course, some butter. Butter just makes everything better anyway. Before we start the actual setting up of the magic cookie bars, we want to start with preheating your oven so that it's ready to go. So just go ahead, turn your oven on to 350, and that is that.
So we're gonna start by putting our butter in our pan. We are gonna use an entire stick of butter, so it's not probably the best for you. Don't eat a lot of them when they're done. But we're gonna use a whole stick of butter, and super simple. Just open it up. You're gonna place the butter stick right into the middle of your pan, and then you're gonna put this pan into your preheated 350-degree oven until it melts. It usually just takes a few minutes, so kind of keep an eye on it if you can. Just look in there every now and then and see if it's completely melted. Once it's completely melted, you'll take it right out. So guys, just like with life, we all make mistakes. And as I was melting the butter, I was kind of looking at it, and right now, the amount of butter on the bottom of this pan is enough to make the cookie bars. So we have this big piece left, and I really don't think we need it. I think it'll end up being too buttery. So I'm gonna take this piece out. So when you make these, instead of using a whole stick, use just a little more than half. Just a little extra, about almost 3/4. Almost 3/4 of a stick, and that should be plenty for this recipe. Okay guys, now really good thing about this recipe is you can make adjustments to it to your liking. So I know I made a mistake with the butter, but you know, I can pawn it off as to my liking, it was too much butter, huh? But that's what we're gonna do with our graham cracker crumbs. So all of our ingredients give us a specific amount. I have never used this specific amount because I've made these for so many years. It tells us we need 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. But when I go to sprinkle, I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle it on there to my liking. Sprinkle it on.
Someone's excited for cookies.
As you can see, we have a special guest with us today. That's my other daughter, Rachel, and she's here because these are her favorite cookies. I only make them at Christmas, so when she found out I was making them for you guys, she just had to be here to have a little bit when we're all done. Now we're going to spread our condensed milk. So if you take a look really quickly, you'll see I got all of the graham cracker crumbs in there. You really can't see the butter anymore. You just see a big pan full of what looks like sand at the beach. But we're gonna take this 1 can of sweetened condensed milk and pour it on top of the graham cracker crumbs. One piece of advice I am going to give you is try to stay away from the edges of the pan because this is really sticky, and when it gets cooked, it kind of sticks to the pan. That makes it really hard to cut. So do your best to stay kind of in the middle. I like to just start at the top and work my way around. You see how I try to stay away from the edge, but it'll kind of spread out that way anyway. Get away.
Next we have chocolate chips. Now for the recipe, technically you're supposed to use half a bag, but again, because it's to your liking, we use almost the entire bag. But if you don't like a lot of chocolate, you can use less. If you love chocolate, you can use more, but it's all up to you. So you're just gonna sprinkle this on. I like put it in my hand first and then just kind of keep sprinkling. Ooh, here we go. All right, next is pecans. Again, all up to you. Recipe says for just a half a cup of pecans, but I love pecans. So instead of just the 1 bag, I'm using 2 bags. Yeah. So y'all, I don't think even that is enough pecans. So I got another bag and I'm gonna put some more because I love pecans. Now that's enough pecans.
Last but not least, we're gonna add our shredded coconut. The recipe calls for about 1.5 cups of coconut, but like Ms. Rodriguez likes pecans, I like coconut. So I just kind of sprinkle it on the way I like it. Again, I put some into my hands just so I can make sure, see how that clump came out? I don't want the clumps to fall in, so I can sprinkle that and then break up these little clumps. There we go. Okay, our last step, we have to use our hands on this, and you can put gloves on if you feel like, you know, it make nice and clean. I washed my hands really good before this step. So all you're gonna do using your hands is you're just gonna press down kind of firmly so that everything just kind of gets squished together. I just kind of turn it around to make sure I get all the corners. And all this does is it helps all of the layers come together. So when it cooks and when you cut them, they come out as actual bars.
It goes in the oven for about 25 minutes or until all that coconut is golden brown.
Forget to set your timer. Hey Google, I need a timer for 25 minutes.
25 minutes, and we're starting now.
All right, we just pulled these out of the oven. Best thing to do when they just come out is to take a butter knife and make sure you have a pot holder or something to hold on to the side and get the edges of the magic cookie bar from the edge of the pan. That way we don't want it to stick. It's not gonna be perfect. I'm sure some pieces are still gonna stick, but just to make it a little better, we're gonna go around the edges. Cutting these magic cookie bars, you can make them how big you want them, how small. I just, you know. Can you say delicioso? Delicioso.